All right, thanks for jumping on. Obviously, really disappointing last night. Our last game last night. Everyone here is hurts and is extremely disappointed. Put a lot of work into it, like you do every game. Had a good week of practice and just did not perform well enough, consistently enough. No one feels worse about it than the people here in this building, and told the team today that that's sports, that's life. You have adversity, and you get to control how you respond. And we need to respond the right way on Saturday night. Looking at the game, guys that we felt played really well offensively: Jordan Dingle, Nick Harbor, and Rasul Faison. Really proud of the way they performed defensively. Nick Barrett, Justin Okoronkwo, and Peyton Williams all had really good games, we felt like. And then on special teams, Nick Harbor and Mason Love did a nice job flipping field position on a couple of those punts. Looking at the game, just not enough good. Offensively, love the way the first couple drives, we were moving the ball and running the ball and did a lot of really, really good. But at the end of the day, when you have four turnovers, you're not going to win football games when you turn the ball over four times. Defensively, did not tackle well, and that was disappointing. We've been a good tackling team and have been for a while, and missed too many last night, and didn't create enough takeaways. We got beat 4-1 in the turnover battle, and it's hard to make a living that way. So we've got to take the ball away better. We got to tackle better. We got to be better from that standpoint. Did a nice job, I thought, defensively in some sudden change situations where we had the interception, held them to 0 points. We got stopped on the first fourth down. We held them to 0 points after. And then on the second fourth down is when we held them to a field goal. So good job by our defense stepping up in those situations. But a lot to correct. When you watch the tape today, certainly give Vanderbilt credit, but we helped them a lot, and they're too good a team for us to be helping them. And not enough winning football, as I told you last night. That starts with me, and eager to get back on the practice field this evening and get back to work and continue to try and get better. We're 25% through the regular season, and three-game body of work is not good enough, but we're a team that's always gotten better as the year has gone, and started three true freshmen last night on offense. They'll just continue to get better, and along with all the new faces that we have on defense and special teams, they'll continue to get better. Injury-wise, Lenoris and Kaysen obviously did not finish the game last night. We're optimistic on both those guys for this week, and then fortunately no other injuries to report from last night. So any questions you guys have, fire away.
Shane, it's Dave. Was there any clarification on Dylan Stewart for next week?
As far as I know, he's good to go. That's what we've been told by the SEC league office, that it was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, not a targeting, so it doesn't affect the next game.
Shane, did Lenoris have a concussion last night?
I don't get into specific injuries.
With the way things were going on offense before he had to leave, what did you see that gave you confidence that when he is back in full go, that the offense will be able to pick up where things were and continue on a positive trajectory?
Well, not to be rude, but did you watch the game when he was in there, Hill? I mean, we moved up and down the field. He sat in the pocket. I thought he did a hell of a job last night sitting in the pocket and making throws. I thought our receivers did a nice job of running routes. I thought he did a good job of running the football. I mean, we were operating efficiently, mix it in formations, mix it in mixed direction, taking some throws downfield. He did a lot of really good in his time in there during those the first two possessions. The first three possessions or the third possession obviously was not good enough. We were backed up. We got a first down where Lenoris, if you were watching, got a sat in there in the pocket and made a great throw downfield to get a first down when we were in a backed up scenario. And then disappointing next three plays, we had our next two plays, we had a first down where we miss a running back misses a blitz pickup and we get sacked. And then on the next play, we roll a snap back there. And then on the third play, we run the ball and just trying to get some room to punt, and we pop it out of there. And were about one block away from that play, maybe scoring. So there was a lot of good when Lenoris was in there last night, and confident that we'll continue to improve offensively when he gets back healthy. But again, this is a heck of a team we're getting ready to play out in Missouri. Just watching their tape today before I got on with you guys, so we've got to get a whole lot better. But there were a lot of good signs last night too when Lenoris was in there.
Hey Shane, it's Jordan. On those last two drives of the game, were there any thoughts of putting air in there? And I guess can you explain the reasoning for keeping Luke in the entire second half?
I thought Luke was doing some good things operating the offense, and certainly he needs to be better. He'll be the first to tell you that, but he did some really good stuff managing the offense, making calls, directing traffic, making throws. Mike and I had some discussion about both backup quarterbacks, Cutter and Air, both in regards to potentially putting them in at some point as the game went. Not necessarily because Luke was playing bad, but just to get some other guys some experience. But we didn't. I was confident that we were going to go downfield, score a touchdown, get the 2 point conversion, and make it a two-score game, and almost return the kickoff for a touchdown. We're a play away or a block away from returning that one all the way, and really felt confident about us being able to win the game in the fourth quarter, and felt like Luke gave us the best opportunity to do that as we got into the fourth quarter. But yes, we did discuss it briefly, but in order to win the game, felt like Luke gave us the best chance at that point.
Hey Shane, it's Jack. Now you're three games into the season here. The offense did look pretty good in the first half there, like you said, but just overall body of work, you guys are kind of last or 15th in the SEC and just a lot of offensive major categories. Do you have any concerns about the offense at this point in the year? And just what are your overall thoughts on the play calling and the job that Mike Shula has done so far?
I think he's done a good job. We all can be better. I think you can look at stats. We've played two Power Four teams. We've played an SEC team defensively. I think stats even themselves out as the year goes, and our level of competition through 3 games. I mean, we've got some teams that just played their first Power Four team of the year this yesterday. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into stats after 3 games. There's no question we're not good enough right now. The body of work is not what our standard is. And we all have to be better. Me, Mike, the offensive staff, the players.
Hey Shane, it's Ben. I had a question on the Lenoris pick. The TV commentator seemed pretty convinced that he was supposed to read it up to that post. Was that what you were saying, or is that just a case of they called it pretty funky, exotic, and it kind of happened to hit, the way it hit?
You're asking where we want to throw the ball on that? I mean, what's your question?
Is that a case where you say to Lenoris, you've got to kind of look up to the post, or is that just a case where they threw something funky and that kind of happens in football?
I mean, they did something a little funky, but I mean, it wasn't new. If you watch their game against Virginia Tech from the week before, I mean, they did something very similar in the red zone against Virginia Tech where they, brought pressure, and then they had people that popped out. The pressure they ran was a little bit different, but against Virginia Tech, they did something very similar, something that we do on defense as well when you get everybody up there on the line of scrimmage or bring pressure and pop out. So they, you know, did something that teams do, and their guy made a nice play. I don't think Lenoris saw him, so sometimes they get you. But yeah, I mean, if you're watching the tape, you had about 3 people you had the choice of throwing to on that one. So don't necessarily fault him where he threw the ball. But if you want me to say the tight end was wide open running up the seam, yeah, he was. But so was Oscar, and so was a receiver out to the field as well. So there were multiple places we could have gone with the ball there.
Shane, it's Dave again. I'm sure you've heard by now that Brent Pry was let go at Virginia Tech, and of course, within 5 seconds, your name's all over a bunch of hot boards and stuff. Is there anything you want to say now about interest that could come your way about that job?
Not really. I think the week of the Virginia Tech game, I told everyone how I feel about South Carolina and my love for this place, and that's where my focus is right now is getting our football team better because I don't like where we are right now, and that's my responsibility, and I've got to get it better without a doubt, and confident that we will. And then I hate it for Brent. He's somebody that I've known for since I was in college and have a lot of respect for. And days like this in the coaching profession suck because that's a good man with a family that's got daughters about the age of my daughters, and I know how hard losing is on your family. Uh, Seeing that right now with mine, but different too when a guy loses his job also. So feel for Brent and the people that I know on that staff, and hate that that decision was made.
Shane, it's Jack again. When Lenore's goes out and you see the way the offense is moving the ball in the second half, what do you feel like were kind of the biggest issues in your eyes in terms of being able to finish off those drives with points? Because obviously, when Lenore's was out, you guys didn't have any points there in the second half.
No, we didn't. We had drives where we moved the ball, but just didn't finish. It's a fourth down that we got stopped on. It's another fourth down that we got stopped on. It's a pressure where they're bringing seven rushers and we've got six blockers, and we've got to get rid of the ball, or it's a pass that might just be a little off, or a route that might just be a little bit off. Just we were moving it, but we got to finish, and you got to be able to score points, and you got to be able to finish in the red zone, especially against a team like Vanderbilt. So I don't know if there's one thing necessarily that I just look at, but just too inconsistent. Moved the ball well at times, but just not consistent enough.
Shane, Brian Rowe ends up playing, I think, maybe the most snaps of any of the receivers. What did he show you last week to kind of, earn that sort of bigger role?
Just playmaking ability, and again, that receiving group is a work in progress, and there's a lot of true freshmen, and there's returning guys, and it's great competition in that room, and practice matters, and Brian had a good week of practice, and a lot of those guys did. The competition in that room has made everyone better, I believe, and increased the urgency. There's no doubt about it. But in regards to Brian, he's been a guy. You go back to spring practice or spring game, and then this preseason, he makes a lot of plays, and he had a nice week of practice and showed that he can make an impact with the ball in his hands.
Shane, you talked about it a little bit yesterday with there's going to be a lot of outside noise and negativity and stuff, and you guys as the team need to keep it positive in the locker room and whatnot. But obviously the fan base is not pleased with what happened yesterday. What would just your message be to those fans that saw the way you guys performed yesterday?
That nobody's more disappointed in the way we perform than we are.
Shane, after y'all reviewed the tape, what were your thoughts of how the offensive line performed, and I guess specifically with Boaz? I think it was late in the second half. Nolan Hay got in at center and took over for the rest of the way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line did some really good things. I thought the protection was really good last night. We had two sacks, and one of those was when we had the errant snap, and the other snap was not on the offensive line. So I thought they did a nice job from a protection standpoint. I thought they were playing with physicality early in the game, trying to finish on people, opening up lanes for the running backs to run, and definitely, like always, there's plays they'd like to have back. And then Nolan's a guy we got a lot of confidence in, and same with Bo. Bo's done some good things, and Nolan was in there some. We had a extra offensive lineman package that we got in some last night, and we were in that on that 4th and 1 that we got stopped on. And Nolan did some good things and continues to get better. And Boaz is a good player as well that does some good things and or has done a lot of good things. But it's we all got to be better.
Shane, on those two roughing the passer calls, it seemed like those were kind of towing the line of that rule. Have you sent any of those into the SEC? And I guess how do you coach that when a guy is kind of moving into the quarterback and it seems like it's pretty hard for them to stop. How do you coach that?
Yeah, my question exactly, Jordan. Yes, we did send both those in. Honestly, just to get some clarification on how exactly we're supposed to coach that, because Brian Thomas had already initiated the act of going to tackle the quarterback as the quarterback jumped in the air to throw the ball. So, other than Brian Thomas being able to, while in midair, turn his body to avoid landing on the quarterback, I don't know how to coach him. And I'd like clarification from the SEC on what exactly we're supposed to be telling him. And then the one on Dylan, I thought was, if we're going to call that late hit or whatever it was, I can send in plenty of worse things being done to our guys. But again, I'm sure there's plays that Vanderbilt disagreed with also, but those were two. We understand. I mean, we've talked to our players endlessly about showing plays where the quarterback is getting hit, going back to last year, that we got to be smart here. And this play right here, this last year it was legal. This year they may call this on you, some of the hits that we had on quarterbacks last year. So we've really tried to emphasize it, but there were some tough ones last night.
Shane, Dave again. Will Lenoris and Case practice tonight?
I'm not getting into who's out there for practice. That sounds like a question on an injury update, and I just told you that we're optimistic on them, and we'll have an injury report for you later on. They'll be at practice, though.
Shane, what stood out about specifically the first drive for Luke? How did you kind of come away feeling that, especially like having a veteran guy that gets end up thrown in a pretty high leverage situation?
I thought he did a nice job. That was the 2 minute drive before the half, I think, right?
Uh, yeah, the one where you guys got, I think, to the 30 and then
Yeah.
had the false start and I think a deep ball and then had the
Yep,
kick.
did a good job. It was funny. Right before Lenoris went out there to get hurt, or to get hurt, before Lenoris got hurt, I was standing on the sidelines talking with Luke and Lenoris, and Luke made a comment with to me and Lenoris that, man, this situation's easy compared to some of the situations you put us in practice. When we do the 2 minute drill, we always do 2 minute on Sundays and Thursdays. And I try and create really tough situations for the offense. And Luke's like, shoot, we got just under 2 minutes and we got plenty of timeouts. Like, this is easy. And I said, yeah, this is nothing compared to what you see in practice. So we should go down there and get points. And, little did I know, whatever it was, 2 plays later or 1 play later, Luke would be in there. But kind of the same thing, that was his belief, that he's played a lot of football. He, has great confidence in himself. I thought he did a nice job during that. The the third down play, they played a coverage where we had the seam kind of coming open down the middle. We threw three verticals, and he threw it up to give our guy a chance. And they're the deep half safety, when the ball is snapped, he's on the line of scrimmage trying to disguise it. So that's a tough play for that guy to make, and obviously love to put a little bit more, air on the ball and let that receiver go get it. But he took us down the field and gave us an opportunity to kick a field goal. Probably could have been better there on second down and third down to make it a little bit easier on the kicker when he came out, but got us down there with an opportunity to score points, and that's all you can ask.
Shane, the sack numbers, as you mentioned, were low, but the tackles for loss were high again. Is there just something in run blocking scheme, or is it execution? How are those things consistently a problem?
Yeah, something that we talked about today as a staff, that we've got to fix the things that are issues, and we need to enhance the things that we're doing well. And that's what we got to look at. So, combination of everything, all positions, and it's a pattern I'm not happy with and needs to get fixed.
Have y'all identified some places already where you want to do so and work on that this week, or how does that evolve and come about?
Yeah, that's every week. You look at what you need to fix and what you did well, what you didn't do well, what you need to improve on, and what gives you the best chance to go perform well in the next game.
And there was talk before the season. Mike Shula told us that he's called plays from the sideline and the booth. Does that make a difference? Is he comfortable down there where he is?
I think so. I mean, if he wasn't, I don't think he would be down there. We've had a lot of conversations today about how to be better, and we haven't discussed that. But if he feels more confident in the box, comfortable in the box, great. If he'd rather be on the field, great. He's caught a lot of plays and coached in Super Bowls, called plays in Super Bowls. So wherever he feels like he's most comfortable is where he'll be. All right. See you Tuesday. Off to practice. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.